Welcome back to the hottest marriage show that people are finally hearing about. I'm Too Much, and this is my wife, Do. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well today.
How's that weather?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I just want y'all to know. So, of course, we did a normal routine of walking, and
It wasn't the normal.
well, we began to do the normal routine of walking,
Oh, okay.
and probably a quarter of the way, I decided that we needed to turn around. Now, I'm dressed in my normal attire, but my thighs. Now, mind you, I have like a 3/4 type jacket, like a
It ain't a jacket.
coat.
It's a coat.
It's a real coat. So my legs were really cold. So we turned around, and I said, "Are you cold?" She said, "Yeah." Like that was, I don't know. But so we're walking back, and maybe about 7 to 10 minutes before we actually get home, I just start running because it's that cold. I mean, it's okay on the temperature is set 15 degrees. So when I got in the house, I had to look. The wind chill factor brought it down to -1. It says feels like -1. So I felt a lot better, but I'm telling you, when I was running home,
As he abandoned me and the dog.
yeah, they were okay. Look, when I was running home, all I could think about was like, this is real. Like this temperature is real. But apparently, this person who hasn't lived in Michigan, and I don't know how long, but came back and she act like this is just regular.
I've lived here for 26 years prior to leaving. So
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I don't know if it was that long.
I did. I lived here until I finished grad school. Wait. Yeah, I finished grad school.
And then you went to D.C.
Yeah, which is, it still gets cold over there. Then I came back home.
Yeah, still. Now, how long ago was that?
That was 2006.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Anyways, it just seems like it feels a lot colder than then.
I lived here longer than I didn't. So
Well,
it's cool. The truthfully, if you go out there and you just breathe it in, it's some really nice, crisp air. It's beautiful.
yeah, I'll let y'all figure that out. It's 15 degrees, and the negative temperature that it says it feels like is due to the wind chill, and she said it's brisk.
Oh yeah.
It's more than that. So today is the official first day back to normal after the break, even though the kids started school last week because our nephew contracted COVID. And so he stayed in Louisville for an extra week. And it's so crazy because I was just thinking he just turned into a different person when he went home. Because here, when we go in public, we wear a mask and all of this. There was no mask for him when he went to Louisville. And he said that
When in Rome.
he didn't say that, but that's exactly what he did. But he had like a cough, so it wasn't anything bad. People were kind of worried, but I was really worried about the people that he was with, like his godmother, and they caught it. They're older, so I was worried more so about them. But he's back, and we're starting. Well, we started today, like regular. So the kids are back in school, and we are out here doing our thing. I got a question for you though. When you I guess the question is kind of centered around the way that I view things now. So I was thinking how you grew up. You didn't grow up with the father that you would have liked, and I didn't grow up with the mother that I would like. So we've got two different views, and I was wondering, when you discipline or correct the children, at any point do you ever feel like you could have done something better without seeing what you like, the correction? The reason why I'm asking, because when I watch how you parent and then I think about how I parent, at times I question myself from the man perspective, because I feel like my father's practices were a little skeptical, but he only knew what he knew. So I know sometimes I can be a little overbearing, but I'm asking this because I have doubts with my when I'm supposed to step in now. You know, and it's like being that I don't have anybody to tell me, hey, like, yeah, you got to nip this in the bud, because I nip everything in the bud. And sometimes things don't need to be nipped in the bud because, well, not saying it don't need to be nipped in the bud. It doesn't require the.
It's not something that's gonna lead to some.
Yeah, but I don't know that
habit.
though. But that's what I'm saying. So when I see something that I feel like I was corrected on, I don't think about it afterward. But I've done it so much since I've been back, and now it's gotten to the point where I don't know sometimes when I'm supposed to just let it go. Like I told you, I wanted to flow like water, but flowing like water is becoming a lot more difficult because I don't know the effects of not stopping some of the behaviors that I'm not comfortable with. Like, do you think about those things? Or do you just kind of just roll with it?
I don't think about those things. I think that I feel like there's already a certain level of respect that they have for me. I think that I enjoy the balance between, okay, this is what she said I need to do, and playing around. I like, parents try to be their kids' friend. I don't really want to be my kids' friends. I do when they get older, but I want to be somebody where they feel like comfortable. They don't have to be on guard. Like, oh, here he come. And I'm not saying you. I'm saying like my dad, he was the disciplinarian. He only knew how to discipline if he was whooping you. My dad didn't know how to sit and talk to you. He didn't ask you any questions about why you did what you did or whatever the case may be. It was just, oh, it's whooping time. And he didn't do that very often. But my mom was a much more balanced disciplinarian. Like, you definitely got your whoopings. And when you did, you were like, I deserve that. But for the most part, my mom kind of made you feel bad for not respecting her. Like, why would you do something like that? That's not, and she wouldn't even say stuff like, that's not how I raised you. It was just kind of like, you were like, dang, why would I do that? Because that's not how, like, that's not a good representation of my mom. Like, it makes it look like my mom. And it was that type of thing where my mom made me feel like I wanted to be a good student. I never wanted anybody to tell my mom something bad about me because she was a good person. And I wanted to reflect who she was. I think it was just like, that was a responsibility I took on as a kid. And with Day in Dallas, I feel the same way. I feel like overall they don't do things just to be assholes. Like, they do things because this is new territory and they just haven't been guided in it. And even if they have, like, I try to put that responsibility back on them. It's a lot more discussion than it is like yelling or, be like, why would you even do that? What sense did that make? Even with Darius, that's how I'd be like, why would you do that? That doesn't even make any sense. Even, and I feel like even with him, he's falling in line in the sense of, like, she did ask me to do that. Okay. Like, there's not outward defiance from any of them. So it makes me feel like if I feel like there's a level of respect in their kids and they're going to test boundaries, and I understand that, but letting them know, like, this ain't the one. This ain't the two. Like, don't do this. You know what I'm saying? And they're thinking individuals. I don't question how I parent so much because I feel like their response to me when I correct them is respectful. It's their thinking, and they're able to bounce back. It's not like they're feeling bad and down and sad. And, I don't want them to feel like shit. I just want them to recognize and be like, all right, I get what you're saying. And I feel like they do that. So I think the other thing is that it's when you're saying I'm trying to figure out how to get in here and when to do this and when not to do that, it's like you had a bit of a sabbatical. So coming into the house and then day in and day out, hour in and hour out, you are actively parenting. And even now, you're even more mindful of being an active parent. Before it was you really were the disciplinarian. You were like, but you're in every facet of their life. You have your hand in it. So it's different all the way around for you. I understand how you would have to think your way through it because that's a lot.
It is. I guess the way that you parent, like, I'm worried about some of the effects later.
So this was an intervention about my parenting?
No, it is. No, I'm telling you, that's the disturbance with me because I don't know when I'm supposed to back up. Because if something happens and I didn't step in, I'm going to think about, hey, John, this is something that you were supposed to step in, but you didn't because you decided to parent differently. So that's what I'm telling you. Like, I don't think you understand it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with, like, I don't think I can tell what is necessary and what's not necessary.
I think you're doing well.
I don't know what you're comparing it to.
As an example, last week Dallas was cooking and he spilled oil. Putting the oil back up into the cabinet over the refrigerator. There was oil on top of the refrigerator. It was dripping down into the door. It was on the floor. He must have stepped in it. He walked out of the kitchen. There was a trail. And John comes into the kitchen. He notices this. And then, what did you come and tell me? Or was I don't know why I was in there. And so.
No, I came into the back.
Yeah.
And I said.
You said, come look at this or something? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then he walks into the room. So it's me that I'm supposed to do this, right? So I go into the door and I say to Dallas, Dallas, did you spill oil in the kitchen? And he was asleep. And he said, yeah, I cleaned it up. I said, what did you clean it up with? He said, paper towel. Now, we all know you can't clean up no oil with no paper towel. So I went into the kitchen. I got some bleach and Lysol, and I started wiping everything down. And so then you come in, and you're like, what are you doing? Now, this is the thing. It's not that you correct us in certain things, because Dallas needed to be responsible for cleaning up his mess. That is very true. And in my head, I was like, he's asleep. Let me just go wipe this up real quick. But John came in fussing that I should not, like, Dallas should be responsible for getting out of the bed, coming back into the kitchen and cleaning up. He's right. So I went in there and I said, but this is the thing, not letting John always be the person that's fussing at the kids. So he fusses at me. He's right. So I went in there and I was like, Dallas, you need to get up and come and mop the floor. So he got up, he comes into the kitchen, he mops the floor, and I explained to him while he's mopping the floor about oil and how it has to be cleaned up in a certain way, where I already cleaned, what I cleaned with. So he was like, okay. He mopped it up. He threw the stuff away that he needed to. He went back in the room and went to sleep. So sometimes I'm not as rough on them. Not rough. Sometimes I don't require them to
accept responsibility for everything that they've done. If I feel like I could just do it, sometimes I just do.
and you don't like that. At each point in time, you want them to always accept responsibility. That's fair. It makes sense and it's right.
I think because it's their learning lesson.
It is. And he said that. He was like, you're taking the lessons away from them where they should be learning. And he's correct. And so I think that you do know, even today, I had a discussion with Darius about taking something to school today. Now, I knew he wanted to take it to school, but I felt like it was going to be disruptive. And I talked to him yesterday. I said, hey, that's not going to school. And he was like, okay. So this morning, I was in the back and I heard the door close. One of these teenagers done left. So I run to the front. I said, was that Darius that just walked out the door? And he said, yeah. So I yell out the door. I said, hey, Darius, do you have such and such in your back? Do you have such and such? And he said, yeah. I said, didn't we talk about this yesterday that you were not going to take it to school? And he said, I forgot. So then he comes and he puts it on the counter. And I said, all right. No. And when he was coming in, I said, now, I already heard you yesterday with this, and I knew it was going to be disruptive. That does not need to go to school. We already talked about this. He was like, okay. I said, have a good day. He said, I love you. Have a good day. And he was gone. Right? So in that case, I felt like when it was done, like I had come out and John had already said, he said I wasn't going to say anything to him. Now, we've already had a conversation about how this particular item was not going to school. And so I was thinking to myself.
We didn't even have, like, I went to you yesterday because I didn't want to. Sure. Because I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah. And so he didn't say anything. This child was walking out with his little item in hand, geeked up because he was ready to get his day going. And I came in and poured some water on it. But even in that moment, you have made a conscious decision.
Because I had already
corrected him
twice this morning. And I was like, and I already know he was in a shitty mood. And after the second time correcting him, I was like, look, dude, I have bad days if I send you to school bad. Like, because I'm thinking, like, did I make him that mad where I ruined his day? Like, I don't try to do this. I'm just trying to help you to prevent you from, messing up later. But the thing was, I knew about those things. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I cannot ask him this because I know there's a possibility that he's going to make me blow up. And guess what? If I would have asked him, I would have blown up.
Yeah. And so I feel like you do, even if you don't feel as confident in when you should step in or bow out, I feel like you're getting a good balance of it. It's a good balance, I think. So I wouldn't be as
I guess
concerned.
I'm concerned because I have other things I need to be working on, and I need this to become second nature. And I feel like I know. I mean, the things that I'm working on, but until I can get that, I think by the time I get this second nature, they'll be gone. And I'm gonna be pissed. Spent all this time to learn how to be a parent, and then they're assets to society.
Oh yeah. Well, I think they already are on the path of being assets to society.
Yeah.
I think Darius is gonna be our crash course though, because his personality is so different from the kids. Like y'all. So we were playing cards, skip bowl or something, and we do round robin where everybody plays a song, right? So everybody got their phone at the table. You play your song, next person play their song, all the way around. We could tell that we had a different kid because Day and Dallas's music were completely different than Darius's music.
Darius's music is like anybody that's our age, except we are in middle school or high school. Mm-hmm. So he's listening to all the probably the toughest version of rap.
Oh yeah, I mean to the point where, and this is the thing, we don't allow cussing in the house, but cuss words are just words. So sometimes we're listening to music, as long as you understand that you ain't gonna be rattling these words off, and you're not acting out these behaviors or whatever, we're free with music. And,
I'm not.
Well, some of the stuff Darius was playing.
No, oh, yeah. And I'm talking about I'm not free with what I play.
Oh, yeah. No. We're not. However, the things that they want to play, we're not like, that's inappropriate, turn it off.
So I want you to know, when he was playing it, in my head, I was like, am I supposed to say, dude, like, you need to read the room? Like, we don't want to hear this music. Because it was like music that he probably should listen to by himself.
Yeah. But
nobody got hype. We were just bopping to the beat. You and I, Day in Dallas didn't know what was going on.
But I think that at the same time, he felt he did read the room, because he was like, this wasn't the song I meant to play. And then there was another one where he was like, I don't think that I should be playing this. And he turned it off. And then he started going, like, we thought he was really trying to be a DJ. This dude was going back in the hall when it wasn't his turn, and he's like listening through music and trying to find, like, what you curating the list?
Yeah, so I didn't realize he was doing that to figure out. But yeah, some of the songs, I'm like,
yeah, I think he was back there and he was kind of listening through it for a second, and then because the first 2 songs he put on, he just put on songs he liked, and the more he listened to it in our presence, he was like,
yeah, it was, and it was so crazy in my head. I'm watching a table and I'm just like, he shouldn't be listening to this music, because there's a level of awareness he doesn't have with what's going on in these words.
And we used to talk about that, how we wanted to listen to music and like help the kids dissect some of them so they could understand, like, when you're listening to this, what is it you like? Is it the beat? Is it, the hook? Is it the energy of the song? Like, what is it? So it's not like, bitch, this, that.
I know.
Like, he trying to make sure it's not that. But it's just, I think that you're gonna get a nice little crash course in parenting, just because Darius is so different. It's gonna require us to stretch our brains a little bit more.
Yeah,
than Day in Dallas.
Yeah, he's gonna keep us hip. Like, there's certain, like, even the younger rappers that I do listen to, he don't listen to those guys. He listened to, like, I don't know. But I will say this.
He listens to all the littles.
The littles.
Little Turk, little Dirt, little Work.
No,
little Jerk.
You silly. But they, I just, I guess ultimately, my kids know my favorite rapper, but I don't play the music because a lot of the music I couldn't play, and I was just thinking, like, I want to play like Too Short, Curse Words, and Freaky Tales, Biggie. Like, I can't play those songs because I don't want them to get confused. And when I say confused, I mean like, just like, I understand the music. I remember when I was in middle and high school and I was rapping words, and as I got older, I was like, oh man, I knew all the words that I shouldn't have been saying that. Like, and I'm saying it in front of adults, but the adults are so much older than us that they have no idea what it means, right? Yeah. So as I get older, I'm realizing that I'm saying things that if somebody
knew,
it's like, what are you doing? So that's what's going on. Like, I'm like, how can I let him be him, but let him know, like, hey, there are going to be some adults that understand these lyrics.
Well, I think, I don't know how he acts around other adults.
Well, I know how he acts when he's not with you and I.
Yeah.
He acts a dang fool.
He does act a bit of a donkey. But that we have to, we'll get it together. But one of the things I think is when they say everything starts at home. At home, he was paying attention to that. And his music choices started to change. Like, the language, I could hear it was different. It was the same music, and I don't know if he was finding different versions of the same track. I don't know what it was, but I could see that he was visibly uncomfortable until he could kind of get his footing on what kind of music he wanted to play around us. And I think that that's good. I think that we just got to keep working with him, and it'll radiate out beyond the house. But, yeah.
No doubt. I mean, like, I remember. But, I guess his biggest problem is when he becomes older, he's going to know, like, at least he had some people around him that kind of monitored that, because my father didn't know. He just knew real curse words. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But if you get into rappers, they don't have to curse like that to say inappropriate things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you a kid, you don't know how inappropriate it is.
You know when I knew that I had reached the threshold of not being young was when, is it Soulja Boy that has a song that says Superman that hoe? Mm-hmm. When my students, they said,
oh, that was Atlanta.
Milu, are you? I said, yeah, this song is cool. They said, do you know what that means? And I was like, no, what do you mean?
Somebody, they told you?
The kid told me, yeah. And I said, oh my God. Look, when I say they were cracking up, I said, y'all, please do not play that song anymore. Because, like, you know, they would have days where I would let them, like, work on projects. They could listen to music as long as we weren't disrupting anybody. And one of the students, like, they were like, wait, hold on. Like, they was like, we are not going to let her go out into the world and not know what she talking about. Yeah, sure enough. I don't know what I thought it was, but I am one of those people. I get lost in the beat. I get lost in, like, the catchiness of it. If I like the cadence. Yeah, I get caught in that and not so much always the meaning. Like, I love stuff like Nas, I Can. I love stuff like, you know, One Mic. I like those, and I will listen to what is being said. I love Lupe Fiasco. I listen to what is being said. But not everything. Some stuff I just enjoy the music just because. And so that definitely let me know that with my students, I couldn't do that. I was listening to everything after that. Like, what does this mean?
Yeah. You know, the level of creativity that people have used words. Like, I remember when I learned about Superman that hoe. Like, I was like, that was some very creative. You know, like nobody in the 60s. Well, whenever Superman came out, nobody was thinking that.
No, at all.
And yeah, like, look, check this out. I do want to give him a shout out. You know, I didn't like him for different reasons, but regardless of me not liking him, he did change the way music got to us.
Yeah.
And he showed us how to do it without the help of a large machine. Mm-hmm. And when I say large machine, I mean like a record company or whatnot. He did it all on his own, and he was such a young age.
Yeah,
he was like a young teenager when he was doing this, and you know, I have to admire those who finds levels of greatness at such a young age. And I don't know who he had around him, but he definitely capitalized over the years. You know, he at one point I thought he was going to be like the what's the one rapper? He had one song that everything gold.
Trinidad James.
Yeah, like he was a fake.
You thought he was a one-hit wonder?
No, he is. He was. Like, you know, he had no.
Oh, that's
no,
what I'm saying. You thought Soulja Boy.
Of course, yeah. I had no idea how talented he was. Like the you know what's so crazy? I don't like his lyrics at all, but he can make some cold beats. Mm-hmm. Like, I heard some of the songs is catchy, like you said, the cadence and stuff like that. But I mean, you can't listen to him for lyrics, but you can listen to him for a good time.
Yeah, they in Dallas love Pretty Boy swag.
Yeah, and that beat is cold.
They be like, that's part of their round robin. Dallas was like, wait, let me go find Pretty Boys.
And you know what's so crazy? The only reason why I didn't want to like it was because fraternal reasons.
Oh.
But I used to think that was cold. Like I'm like, man, if it wasn't so Kappa-ish.
That's okay.
Yeah, but I just wanted to give him a shout out because I've definitely said negative things about him in my head because, you know, like for him to be so young, that he made some mistakes, but he's definitely he's still making mistakes, but he's such a trendsetter. He does what he wants, and regardless, he's doing a great job. And I hope, you know, inshallah, he continues to elevate And I like shout out to him. Soldier Boy, tell him. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, not Trinidad James.
I definitely wasn't talking about Trinidad. So you know, Trinidad James, he showed me, you know, how he didn't, you know, he was new to the music. Mm-hmm. So he just came up on the hit. That beat was off of online internet. Mm-hmm. So like
he was an older dude, wasn't
he? He was like in college.
Was he?
A little 24, 25, no more than. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. But you could tell that his other music wasn't good enough. He just got a good hit, but he didn't work on the craft long enough to figure it out, and that's what typically happens. I thought that because he got a huge deal from Def Jam, he stole all their money. And I think I want to say this also. That example of Trinidad James, he's an example of what I've thought about in life. I always looked for a shortcut. And when I say a shortcut, I could do something really good, but if I have to perform and create this over and over, I didn't know how. I couldn't remake the product. And you have to be in that field a certain amount of time, unless you're a special genius and you just figured it out early. But you can tell he didn't, because he couldn't create that sound or that, you know, that thing that made everybody gravitate toward him. But I hope he's doing well, though. I don't want to wish anything bad. But that he showed me also, like I said, an example of I don't know what it takes to get over to just keep doing it. You know, like the people that create longevity, because they're doing it all the time. They know what it takes.
Oh, this dude really was young. Okay,
I told you,
33. Dude,
I don't know. Why did you think I was playing?
Because I
like he was talking about. Remember, he was talking about Instagram flexing. Yeah, you can't be a real adult saying Instagram flexing.
I don't know. I felt like there was somebody that came into it like at 40. Who did? Well, maybe I was.
I would say 2 Chainz.
Oh,
maybe 2 Chainz. But 2 Chainz didn't come in at 40. He just got popular at a later age, like late 30s.
Okay.
Because you know he was in the Duffel Bag Boys.
Oh, I don't remember though.
You don't. When Jeezy first came out, what was the song? Eyes. No, that's him and Gucci. It was a song with the Duffel Bag Boys that Jeezy was with. But yeah, and you know him, 2 Chainz. He's something special too. Like he makes some really good hits. Mm-hmm. I know people don't give him any props lyrically, but he has some great. He put some great words together, and he makes you smile. I can dig him. Anyways, any since we're on music, anybody new that's causing you to like want to talk about or making you feel really good when you listen to?
Oh, you know, I've been on this thing. Ari Lennox. I've been on this thing where I've been exposing myself to new artists. Now, I know Ari Lennox isn't new, but there are a lot of them that are new to me. Like Ari Lennox and her, I've been listening to them consistently over the last couple years or whatever. But they're like Brent, I think his name is Faisal or something, Gibeon. There's a vibe that I am now, it's always been there. Like for me, the type of music I like, but there's so many artists coming out with music that speak to my vibe right now. I just can't even take it. Mm-hmm. I'm loving the music right now. Like, you know, people, I don't know. There was a time where I just didn't care. And I was one of those people who's like, I just listen to the music that I've always listened to growing up that I like. I wasn't really into new music, especially when we were in Abu Dhabi. I didn't really like the radio station, so I was kind of caught in old music I used to listen to. Yeah. And then coming back, I'm listening to the radio now. I'm on, you know, the little music apps and stuff now, and the exposure to some of these new artists, new and not so new artists, I'm just vibing lately. Like the internet, Sir. Everybody is just giving me a little bit of something that's speaking to me, and I'm loving it. I can't even. Ooh, wait.
I can dig that. I've definitely gotten away from music.
You know how I've been getting introduced to some stuff though is Instagram. You know how people get the little music behind them when they're doing something, or the trends that are coming out and stuff. And then I'm like, where does that sound come from? Like, where is that? And then I'll go search it, and then I'll find a whole new artist. And I was like, wow. Like, it's this one, Piff Marty. He has a song called Black Hair. I heard it on somebody something, and I had to go look it up and listen to it, and I enjoyed it. There are a few other people that I've been enjoying like that. Like, I've always liked Willow Smith. I've never listened to her albums, but whatever she releases, it's always been something I've loved. Even from Whip Her Hair Back and Forth when Day was little. I used to love for Day to get like hype off of that. But I got reintroduced to her through Instagram as well, with her music coming out, and I've enjoyed her too. So
yeah, I haven't heard anything from her. But I guess it's hard to do that because I don't get the chance to listen to the things unless somebody specifically send it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad you have opened up your horizons in listening to new music.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's giving you that vibe.
Oh yeah, like it's at the point like me and my brother, me and Kyle, we have very similar taste in music, and he'll just send me stuff and I'll send him stuff, and we'll go back and forth, and we've been having a really good time.
So what, like, when you guys have fun doing that, like, what type of language are you guys using to understand? Like, when you say, you guys go back and forth. You don't do that with other people, do you?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So what language are you talking for you guys to understand each other? Because you don't do that with everybody else.
No, but he and I have, like, it's a love for horns, piano,
instruments,
unique voices, the content, the feel. Like, this is my thing. I think of music as far as my environment. Like, is this music that I would be riding down 285 at night in Atlanta and it feels good with the sunroof down? Is this something like I could listen to and it's raining outside and I'm burning incense? Is this something like I'm thinking of the entire experience with music? So when I'm listening to music, like yesterday it was raining when we were on our family call in Atlanta. It just started raining really hard where Kyle was, and he was like, "Ooh, it's raining." So he opens the door, and I was like, I got excited. My mom even got excited because we love rain, and I was like, "Dude, could you imagine?" He said, "Oh, I'm putting my records on after this," and it's like we love anything that is a vibe, and we define it the same. And so, yeah, we could bounce music back, and it's like as soon as we can hear the vibe that somebody is putting on, like it's this song called The Evils from Sir. And I love this song. I can see Kyle riding down the street with the windows down, and it's at night. I can see it. And I sent it to him, and I was like, "Dude, this is you." And he was like, "Oh, yeah." And then it's like he sees where my head is at the time, and he'll be like, "Listen to this." And I'll be like, "Oh, yeah." And we just feed off of each other, So sometimes it's upbeat. Sometimes it's, old school Stevie Wonder. Sometimes it's that type of Sir, or, oh, it's a new chick. And I ain't even going to say people are new. Isley. It's Isley and something else. And I've really been enjoying them. So yeah, we feel like, okay, what kind of music are they sharing? I got something that I can share with you too. Have you heard them? Have you heard them? And it's a good time.
I can dig that. Like, I wish I had an ear for that. I think I can listen to people play music, but I don't have a natural ear to be like to keep going to a specific genre that like this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally it's going to be a genre like like classical rap. But rap I can break down a little more, but R&B or singing types, I can't really break it down and hear that sound like you guys are talking about. Like when people was talking about neo soul, I could tell what neo soul was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because somebody said, "Oh, this is this," and then I'm like, "Okay, that's what it is."
Yeah.
So when you say, you know, you got that vibe and you talk to your brother, y'all already know what y'all talking about. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. That's why I was trying to ask you so I can get.
Oh, I'll play you some so then you can figure it out.
No doubt.
Yeah, I can make sure that you know what I'm talking about. Look, I have plenty of examples.
No doubt. Well, that was a pretty good overall synopsis of the break going into music that we love. Anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No, everybody, just welcome back.
Yeah. Happy New Year to everybody. Make it great. Like, I know that this is the peak year for health and fitness, peak part of the year. Do something better than you did last year. Keep pushing yourself. Be great on purpose.
Boom.